Hi guys, welcome to this segment of Millie's Musings where I'll be chatting or whining about my personal experiences of being a Montessori home educator. If this is your first time watching any of my videos, thank you, you're welcome. I hope you stick around. So please be sure to click on the subscribe button as well as the notification bell icon so you don't miss anything else. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Thank you so much for stopping by again. Today's video is going to be super short, I hope, because I want to chat about the challenges of being a Montessori home educator here in the UK. So let's get into it straight away. Number one challenge of being a Montessori home educator in the UK happens to be a universal one, which is that Montessori is expensive. I will officially go on record and say that Montessori is expensive, which is why it is very important you know how to budget and know what to buy. And at this point, I am going to say, you're all in luck because I happen to be a Montessori home education coach and I can help you understand the science of Montessori. Yes, science. If you are not aware, Montessori is designed in the format of the scientific method. So there's a science to it. I can help you understand that, understand the philosophy, the method, and then how to apply it. If you would like to find out more about my coaching program and how it can help you become a confident and effective facilitator for your child at home, please head on to my website www.homelearningstudio.com. Click to book a free discovery call and let's chat. Now come back to the issue at hand, the challenge of Montessori education in the UK. I mentioned that Montessori can be expensive, okay? And that is a universal thing. Whether you are in the UK, you are in the United States, you are in Japan, you are in Nigeria, Montessori is just expensive. Number two is the acquisition of resources. At this point, let me say that my son is 5 and he'll be turning 6 in January, which means that he's approaching the second plane of development. Now, for the first plane, which is 0 to 6, there is so much to get you, there's so much to get you started and well on your way here in the UK. From blogs to subscription boxes, which by the way, Montessori Family UK run by Karine does wonderful subscription boxes and you might want to check them out, particularly if you have kids from 0 to 6, but I also think well beyond. And then of course we have our very own absorbent minds. Actually, not our very own, the very absorbent minds, okay? And the reason why I changed the phrasing or the language there is because Absorbent Minds UK is the only traditional Montessori vendor in the UK. I have been shopping from them since my son was born, which is 5 years now. So I know what I am saying. But now my son, like I said, is approaching the second plane of development. And in my usual manner, I'm going through the curriculum and the albums and I'm having a look at the lessons and as well as materials just as a way of preparing ahead. And you guys, I have almost come to not a screeching halt but definitely deceleration in our tempo, and because I'm beginning to see that for this plane of development is a bit challenging to acquire resources. There are definitely some resources still available on Absorbent Minds, and then there are other further resources you can get. In fact, a whole broader range of resources you can get through Absorbent Mind from Ninhays, and I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, please bear with me, okay? But there are two frustrations for this. Number one, they are so expensive. Maybe the wood there is they are different, but getting from Ninhays is actually more expensive than buying from Absorbent Mind. That's one. Number two, the shipping time is a lot more. Even on Absorbent Minds there, you will see expect shipping time of up to 4 weeks and even more. And imagine you have lessons that you want to present, to your child at the moment. If you add 4 weeks waiting time to that, by the time they arrive, there are other lessons that you need to get to. For these two main reasons, it's a bit frustrating acquiring resources from here in the UK. The third challenge for me as a Montessori home educator here in the UK is access to disposable cash. Here in the UK, generally, people earn less and pay more tax. and the standard of living is even higher compared to, say, in the US. Now you can argue that the reason why they have more disposable cash is because the job security there is less. From what I hear, people can just, you can come into your office and you are fired at the spot and you have to get out like right away. Here in the UK, you can't just fire anybody like that. You have to give them notice. No. You have to give someone notice, and sometimes it's 3 months notice, which means that at least people, there's security to the jobs. Okay, so I think all of these factors come into play to make the access to disposable cash here in the UK much less. And because people generally have less disposable cash, it will affect consideration towards Montessori home education. So that definitely is a challenge to either implementing or continuing with Montessori home education. And then the fourth reason, guys, is the general perception towards education. Now, here in the UK, education is free for children between the ages of 5 to 16. Actually, you can even start from 4, depending on what month in the year. There's a way it's done here in the UK. There are kids at 4 who go into reception and they get free education. So technically from 4, depending on what month of the year your child was born in, you can get free education in the state schools from 4 to 16 for your child. Now, I am not going on record to say that free education is bad. However, I have observed that those who come from places where education costs them, there's a way they approach education and there's a way they value it that I don't sense from people here in the UK who have such free access to education. Now, the reason why I'm starting from the point of education is because Montessori is an educational approach. So before we even dive into the Montessori aspect of the education, we have to start from the educational aspect. I come from Nigeria. We pay for education, and because of that, you cannot play with your books in my country. You cannot go to school and say you don't know what you want to do with your life. What ancestor is whispering in your ear? You know, so we take education very seriously, and I get that sense from a lot of folks that come from countries or places where their parents or they've had to really pay to acquire education. And I think because of that starting point of just the value of that is ascribed to education, and I'm not saying that here in the UK we don't value education, we do. I'm just saying the oomph with which it is approached, or sought, is not as how I sense it from people who come from places where education costs them, right? And that trickles down to Montessori education. Because of that disparity in the way people value education, I think it affects the vendors or the Montessori stores or companies coming over here to establish bases, because guys, these are companies and they want to make profit and they would want to go to where there's demand. And because all of these vendors are not here, remember earlier I said it's just absorbent minds. Because all of these vendors are not here, it is quite hard to have access to Montessori materials, and those are challenges towards Montessori home education for me that I've observed here in the UK. But hey, that does not mean that there's no solution, because for every problem there is a solution. So you guys, I am here to hear all your solutions and suggestions. Please leave them in the comments for how we can get access to materials, or for if you are wondering like, is this really true? Yes guys, so leave your wonderings too in the comments and I'll be sure to read them. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.